they're doing all they can. Nora?
Well, you know, we think that at this point, since our children are not released, that more can be done.
What do you want done?
We don't know what that looks like, what it could be, but we're feeling that more can be done.
We interviewed Sean McFessel in November. He's the so-called fourth hiker who was traveling with Shane and Sarah and Josh, but he didn't make it on that fateful hiking trip because he had a cold. He talked about the concerns for justice that motivate all of them.
So I understand clearly why the Iranian authorities would be curious about their presence initially and have some questions for them, but they know who they are at this point. They know what their characters are. Everything's publicly available. Anyone with questions about their character can look at their writings on the internet, or clearly see our past. It's evident, and it's obvious the kind of people they are. It's obvious they're not a threat to Iran, so I just don't understand why they're being held.
Now, you've delivered a petition to the Iranian embassy?
Yeah, quite some time ago we delivered a petition.
What did the petition say?
It was a petition signed by people from all over the world asking for the release of Shane, Josh, and Sarah.
And what was the response of the Iranian embassy?
I think
it's always difficult for us to tell what responses are. Sometimes they come in other forms for us. We think that everything that we do reaches them. We're pretty sure that everything that we do reaches them, the letters that we've sent and the media that we do. And we look for reactions. We look for positive ones. The most recent one we feel is the most positive that's been come out for a long time.
I wanted to play an excerpt of the piece that that Shane did for Democracy Now! Shane, a freelance journalist. Last year, we aired his report on the U.S. military allying with Sunni militias in Iraq. This is a brief part of that.
In 2006, the American military and Iraqi police could hardly enter Baghdad's Dora neighborhood without being peppered with bullets. But in 2007, the United States forged an alliance with its former enemies, offering money and military support in exchange for a promise to fight al-Qaeda. When we entered Dora this week, we found American soldiers laughing with these neighborhood militias. In November 2008, the Americans handed these so-called awakening councils, or sahwas, to the Iraqi government. Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki promised that 20% of the Sahwa forces would be brought into the army or police force, and the remaining would eventually be offered civilian jobs or a pension. But Sheikh Abu Soleiman, a Sahwa member decorated with American medallions in Dora, says he had higher hopes.
Just a clip of the piece that you can see in full, listen to, read, and watch on our website at democracynow.org. That is Shane Bauer, one of the 3 hikers who are being held. Cindy, how does it feel to hear your son's voice?
It just makes me think about waiting for that call. I've been waiting to hear his voice. Shane's an awesome human being, and I've watched the things he's done, and it makes me sad that he's not with us.
Now, what do you understand are his conditions, the condition of Shane and Sarah right now? I know that Belgian cyclists were held for 2 months in solitary confinement in Iran. And when they came out, their statement was that they're deeply concerned about your 3 kids, that they had been held in solitary confinement. Do you know how they're being held at the Evin prison?
We don't know. It's really, really hard for us to have no information for 3 months about these 3. Being in prison is hard on anybody, and this is 6 months. They're isolated from the world, haven't had any friendly people come in to talk to them for more than 3 months. We're worried they may have been put back in isolation. We're worried about their medical condition at this point, psychological for sure. The interrogation, I'm sure, was very difficult. We have many, many bad thoughts in our head right now about the darkness for them around all this. We need to see them.
So what are you asking this letter that you wrote to Ahmadinejad on Monday? What are you asking for?
We're asking that he expedite the process, the visa process, allow us to come to Iran to see our children, and to allow us to have a meeting with him so we can explain who these people are and why they should be released.
And have you gotten any response? How did you send this letter?
It's an open letter, and we sent it, we send our letters always the same way. We pass them on to the mission. And
to the Iranian mission?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Does Shane and Sarah have sisters and brothers?
Shane has 2 sisters who are very close to him and miss him very much. They're having an extremely difficult time with this.
And Nora, you're a nurse in Oakland. Does Sarah have sisters or brothers?
Sarah has older sister and brother. And one of my daughters has 3 young kids, and they really miss her too. I'm sure she misses them.
How do you spend your days? How are you working to try to have them freed? You're wearing, Cindy, you're wearing a sweatshirt that says "Free the Hikers." Nora, you've got a pin on. Do you wear that pin at work as a nurse?
We're billboards. Our work, my workplace is very supportive. There's a lot of these sweatshirts hanging around at work these days. But, mostly we try to get the word out as broadly as possible. And we have a lot of supporters. Our supporters are very creative. They're always thinking of new things to do to help the kids and to get the word out.
What helps you the most?
Actually, the fact that there's 3 of us, 3 families involved is very strengthening. Going to the website, looking at the YouTube videos, the
website is
freethehikers.org, and looking at some of the testimonials. And I've said this often, that Shane and Sarah and Josh's friends have stepped forward. They've come to us and said, what can we do? They're beautiful people, and they're a distinct reflection of who Shane, Josh, and Sarah are. They're peaceful and compassionate souls and hearts, and their friends reflect that we've gotten so much support from around the world that we really appreciate.
Well, I want to thank you both for coming in. I know you're flying out immediately after this broadcast, and please keep us posted, and of course we'll continue to cover the story of your children. Cindy Hickey is the mother of Shane Bauer. Nora Shord is the mother of Sarah Shord. Shane, Sarah, and Josh Fatal have been held since July 31st by Iranian authorities. They're in the Evin prison in Iran. This is Democracy